Good evening, everybody. We're coming to you live online from Congregation Torah Vachesed, and we're deeply grateful to Rabbi Yaakobin and his congregation for allowing us to meet here temporarily till our Torch Center is restored, hopefully really soon. It's like we remind ourselves every day of the destruction of the temple and how we hope the temple will be rebuilt. And then we have our Torch Center, and it's like, oh, our precious Torch Center, we hope it's rebuilt quickly. The truth is, we hope that our temple in Jerusalem will be rebuilt quickly, speedily in our days. Amen. But also the Torch Center, it's a great place for us to be if we don't have our temple, to be in a place that is warm and welcoming and friendly and a great place for people to come and learn and connect with their Judaism. Okay, tonight's topic is Menucha. Menucha means, well, we'll see in a minute. We'll see in a minute what it means, okay? But this trait of Menucha is one of the traits that Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, the founder of the Mussar movement, modern-day Mussar movement, lists as one of his 13 traits. And this trait, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says, is not to be scattered and unfocused, but rather to be calm and at peace. I think that this topic is probably more relevant today than almost any time in recent, at least in the past 100 years, where people are so busy and they don't have a minute to think. They don't have a minute for themselves. They don't have a minute for their family. They're busy, even when they do have time, they don't have time because they're so busy with the gadgets and phones, and people are so busy. So, calmness, to be at peace. So the words that define Menucha, or Menucha Tanefesh, is equanimity, to be settled, relaxed, calm, tranquility, peace of mind, take a breath, take a deep breath, and serenity. Now, it reminds me of my first summer that I was running a program in the former Soviet Union. So I had to coordinate a lot. I had to arrange for the American staff members to come to the former Soviet Union, deal with the Russian staff members in Russia, manage the program, and I was trying to do a lot. And I was very stressed out and tense. And my mentor at the time came to visit me at yeshiva about 2 days before I was leaving. And he says, come with me. Come to the car. I went with him. And he drove a little bit. And he gave me this little ball. And he says, take the ball and squeeze it. Okay? It was one of those stress balls. And then he says, I want you to close your eyes and just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. Relax. And it was an amazing tool. It was an amazing tool that he taught me to use. We all have it. The problem is sometimes we just don't stop. Stop and take a breath. Stop and just relax. We mentioned this in one of our classes. We spoke about how people don't appreciate the regular gifts that God gives us. Does anybody here like coffee? Many of us love coffee. Why don't people enjoy coffee? Oh, what do you mean? I love coffee. I enjoy my coffee every day. I guarantee you don't enjoy it enough. You want to know why? And I asked these people in the class, I said, how many of you, before you have your coffee, stop and just take a smell of the coffee? Enjoy the aroma. Everyone said they were guilty of that, of not doing that. What happens is, you're running to work, so you grab your coffee from the machine, you have your papers, your stuff, you run, you put it into your cup holder in your car, you're driving, your radio, traffic, music, whatever is going on, listen to a Torch podcast, you're busy, you don't get a chance to just stop and enjoy. I said, just take 1 second, stop, and just take a smell. Have a little tranquility. Have a moment of peacefulness. And sadly, it's a very, very challenging thing for people. It's a very challenging thing for people to just stop and take a break. Have a moment of tranquility. Okay. Actually, we see about Shabbos. There's a lot about Shabbos that's related to Menucha, to this trait of tranquility, of peacefulness. We see Menuchat Ahava Unedava. We're giving all of these different forms of tranquility that we need to have or should have during Shabbat. Menuchat Emet Ve'emunah, Menuchat Shalom V'Shalva V'Hashket V'Vetach. All these different types of Menucha that we talk about in our afternoon prayer on Shabbos. Right? We call it Ba Shabbat. Right? When Shabbos comes, Ba Menucha. When Shabbos comes, Menucha comes as well. Right? Peacefulness, tranquility comes with it. Why? Why when Shabbos comes does tranquility come? Because what are you not doing on Shabbos? You're not running around anymore. The running around stops as soon as we light those Shabbos candles. It's all over. We're not running around plugging things in, taking things out, putting things in the oven, out of the oven, cooking, baking, sifting, whatever it is. We're not doing anything. As soon as that clock hits 18 minutes before sunset, we light our Shabbos candles, and that's it. Tranquility. That's it. What's done is done, and what's not is not. That is Ba Shabbat, Ba Menucha. Shabbos comes in, tranquility comes in as well. Now, sages tell us that what was the world lacking at the end of the sixth day? God created, last week's Torah portion, Bereshit, right? We read how God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh. That's what we were taught, right? But the truth is the seventh day was a day of creation as well. Even though God didn't really create anything. What did God create on the seventh day?
Shabbat.
He created tranquility. All right? The world was lacking rest. The work was completed and it was finished. And now what? Take it easy. Okay? On the seventh day, he put the finishing touch on his work by having it exist in a state of rest. Right? I'll give you an example to what that's compared to. You see, if you've ever been working on a project, right? You're working on a project, any project. You're building a bookcase. You're putting together a book, right? You're writing something. What many times what people don't take the time to enjoy is the fruit of their labor. Just stop and appreciate. Wow, this is so much work. This is such an incredible accomplishment. Now just take it in. Don't be too tranquil. Get on your next project. But at least take a moment to appreciate and enjoy. And it's something that sadly in our world, we're finding people less and less tranquil. People less and less with, I would say, equanimity. There's no balance. Equanimity comes from the term being balanced, right? Equal. Because it's too much work without any balance of rest. Okay? So, which, by the way, an interesting point, I was once talking to one of my rabbis, and we were talking about, I don't know how we got into this conversation, of vacation. Vacation is a very crucial part of our work, of our labor, of our productivity. Why is that? Right? Why is it very important? Because if you don't go on vacation ever, and you just work, eventually you'll burn out. So, if you need a vacation, go on one and enjoy it. Get the most out of it. Right? And a person has to know themselves. They have to know how to balance work and time off. Okay, so we have the following here. Shabbos is called Yom Menucha. What is Menucha? What is tranquility or rest? It is simply the void. Is it the void? Is it simply the void of work or toil? Or is it a lack of sleep or relaxation? Right? It seems as though Menucha is an active trait, not the lack of something. So what is it? What is this Menucha? So we say Shabbos is also referred to as Yom Menucha or Kedusha, a day of rest, a day of peacefulness, and a day of holiness. Right? A day of rest and holiness. They must be connected. So, I'll tell you just a little bit about my grandfather. My grandfather of blessed memory, Rabbi Wolbe, was a very special holy man, a Mussar master, one of a kind. And you never saw my grandfather, I never saw him in a state of frenzy, panic. Never. Always cool, calm, and collected. Always. Never in a panic, never in a fluster, never. Just had a calmness to him. It's an incredible, incredible thing. I'll tell you even more. That we all have challenges that come up in our life. And we wonder why we have those challenges. Right? Sometimes those challenges are there to test us and help us elevate to go up to the next level. Now, I'll share with you my own personal story. Even though we're online, I'll share this little personal story. So prior to moving to Houston 13 years ago, I worked in a different city. I had a different job. It was actually my first paid job as a married man. So I was in yeshiva in Israel for a few years. And then when I got my rabbinic ordination, I moved out to the United States on the East Coast. And I was working in a community and doing some outreach there. And had some challenges at the job I was at. Now, I wasn't one to run away from challenges. I'm not one to run away from challenges. But it bothered me that after 10, 11 months, I was out. I wasn't kicked out, I left. And I sort of felt like I was being, wasn't being real with myself, perhaps not giving myself enough opportunity, enough chance to succeed in that position. I just wanted to move on. So I spoke to, actually my uncle, who was a big rabbi, and I said to him, why did this happen to me? Why did God put me in a situation where I was, I guess not bound to fail, but not going to have a successful outcome? So he said, let me tell you a story. I had shared with him that before I left Israel, one of my mentors told me, I just want you to know that your first job is your most important job. Because that sets the tone of your employment, so to speak. That sets the tone. So it's a lot of pressure now, right? You have to succeed, you have to do a good job. So my uncle told me, in his great, tremendous wisdom, he says, there was once a rabbi in Israel who got fired from his job. And when he got a new job, he said, you know what? As a rabbi, having students, I'm going to be so committed that no one will ever be able to say I didn't do a good job. I'm going to work all day with these students and I'm going to do everything I can. What turned out is that he didn't sleep, he didn't eat, he was becoming less and less healthy because he was all out to show how successful he's going to be with these students. So one day he met up with one of the great leading scholars of that generation. It's a true story. And he says to him, I don't understand. We both have the same position in our yeshivas, in our respective yeshivas. You have 1,000 students under you. I have 75, 100 students under me. How is it that you're so calm, you're so relaxed, you look healthy, and me, I don't sleep, I don't eat, I don't spend time with my family, I'm busy with my students all day, and I have no peace of mind, I have no tranquility, He says, I'll tell you the difference between the two of us. He says, you think that all of your success comes from you. I know all of my success comes from God. So you carry this burden and are trying to force out success. I'm going to try to force out success. Well, I know that I can't force anything. So I do what I need to do, and the rest the Almighty will take care of. I put my greatest effort forward. I do whatever I have to do. But then I go home and I have lunch with my wife, and I can talk to her peacefully, and I can smile at her peacefully, and I can spend time with my children, and I can be relaxed because I know I put my greatest effort forward, and whether or not I succeed is not relevant. That's not my job. That's the Almighty's job. I put my greatest effort forward. He says, you don't give God a chance even. So you carry that burden. That's why you look the way you look. So my uncle said to me, he says, you went in with this frame of mind that the success depends on me alone. So no wonder you had a miserable time. He says, now you go to your new job. Now it's interesting because I came to Houston, I never had to raise any type of funds. I never managed any staff. I never had boards to deal with. I never had community politics and things. Never had any of it. Suddenly I come to a job where I have such an incredible burden placed on me and no stress. It was a worthwhile 10, 11 month lesson to learn. Let God handle it. You put your greatest effort forward, and now, peace of mind. And this is a Mishnah. This is a Mishnah. A Mishnah in Ethics of Our Fathers. It says, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. Your job is not to finish the job. That's not your task. Your task is not to finish the job. Meaning, bring about the final product of success. Aval, however, I ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. You're not a free man to not put your greatest effort forward. That means you go out and do the best you can do. The results at the end, it's not your job. Now, I understand it gets difficult when you have to make a certain amount of sales, otherwise you get kicked out of the company. Right? So a person has to have a lot of faith and a lot of trust in Hashem. And it's a tremendous test in emunah, in faith, in belief in God. I will tell you that I've seen the most amazing things happen to people who have basically had this deal with God. Said, God, I'm from now on, I'm not trying to push my own success. I'm going to push forward my greatest effort. Success, that comes from you. My grandfather, of blessed memory, would sit and prepare classes, and I would ask him before his class, before his lectures, I'd say, "No, so you prepared?" He said, No. If God gives me something to say, I'll say. Right? This after you prepared for 3-4 hours. If God gives me something to say, I'll say. You know what that means? I did my share, but now whether or not it's going to be successful, it's not in my hands anymore. I'm going to put my greatest foot forward. I'm going to put my greatest effort forward. If I succeed, I succeed. That's our job. Right? We're living in a world which is completely, devoid of this value. We have a world which is all about the results. Bring me the results. Did you close the deal? Did you not close the deal? And that's it that counts. In God's world, that's not what counts. How much effort did you put forward? It's a totally different value system. You put in the greatest effort, that's what counts. You didn't put the greatest effort forward, you'll be held accountable. All right? By the way, it's the same thing with the study of Torah. So you open up L'Chumash last week and you say, you know what, this year I'm going to study through each parsha, the weekly Torah reading, and I'm going to read the parsha, as they read it in synagogue. So you say, you know what, I want to get the most out of it as possible. I want to get the most out of it as possible. So you go and you try. You spend 3 hours reading through the Torah portion, and you don't understand everything. You don't have every question resolved. You don't have answers for everything. Does that mean you just wasted your time? No. Absolutely not. One of the things we say in Judaism is when we finish a tractate, here at the end of this Talmud here. So it says we have a special prayer that we say at the end. And that is, Anu amelim vehem amelim. We toil and they toil. Anu amelim umekablim schar vehem amelim ve'ena mekablim schar. We toil and get a reward. They toil and don't get a reward. So what is that? So our sages tell us an amazing thing. And that is, we toil. Okay, you call in a plumber to fix a leak in your sink. He comes in at 9 o'clock in the morning, just as he promised. And he goes under the sink and he says, you know what? I got to go buy a part, missing a part. He goes to Home Depot, buys the part, comes back. He's sitting this, that, calls a friend, maybe you can help me. Comes back at the end of the day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's still dripping. Are you going to pay him? No. Why not? I didn't ask you to come here and work. I asked you to come here and fix it. Right? It's the final product that counts. So if you don't finish the project, you're not getting paid. Right? I didn't ask you to schlep around. I asked you to fix it. Someone sits and learns Torah, spends 5 hours, 3 hours, 25 minutes, tries to figure out something, and they don't have any clarity. They spent the time and they don't have it. Did they just waste their time? Sarah sages, no, they did not waste their time. They get reward for every second of their effort. We don't reward results per se. We reward effort. Okay, now how does this lead to our topic of tranquility, peacefulness, equanimity? Is because what lacks in a person and what draws a person away from having that equanimity or tranquility is that thought that I need to bring about the results. I need to bring about the success. I need to make everything work. Hey, that's not your job. Your job is to ensure that you do the best you possibly can. Put forward the greatest effort, and that's it. No need to do anything more than that. You put forward your greatest effort. So what's interesting is like this, is that my grandfather, aside for always having this calmness and this tranquility on his presence, there's never a shock. Some people you tell them like, oh my God, right? There's a panic. No panic. Always a calmness. I heard this from a student of my grandfather, who said it was an important class that my grandfather announced he was going to be teaching, and this student was late for whatever reason. He was on a bus and they got stuck in traffic, whatever, and he was rushing to try to get to this class, my grandfather's class, on time. And as he runs in, he pushes the door open, and who does the door slam right into? Right into my grandfather. He said it was such a force. He said he didn't flinch. Didn't even look to see who it was. Total control of the response, of the instinctive, impulsive response that most people would have. That's the power of that calmness. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to see. It's also an amazing thing to be around someone who has that tranquility. Because it's a calmness. You're not tense. You're not pressured. So that's what we're trying to accomplish tonight, is learn about this tranquility. And it can take a very, very long time for us to actually accomplish this goal. It's not going to take one class to just get it. Right? Or maybe one class to understand it. But it'll be much more than that to really acquire this trait. So we have like this. Calmness keeps you balanced. It keeps you wise, focused, and helps eliminate anger. Right? If you have a calmness, you take it easy, right? You don't have to rush to a response. You don't have to rush to get, The calm one is greater than the warrior. This King Solomon says, right? In Proverbs 16:32. The calm one is greater than the warrior, and the self-controlled is greater than the conqueror. What is a conqueror? Someone goes out and attacks. What is someone who has self-control? They don't need to attack with arms. They don't need to attack with muscle. They attack inside. They're able to control. To control temptation. So you see this food sitting right in front of you. You're on your diet. I'm on my diet now. Right after the holidays, it's important to get back into shape, right? Soon you won't recognize me online. In these videos, they could be, who is that guy over there? I don't know. So, hopefully. So, you say, okay, that's it. I have to stop eating those fattening cakes. I have to stop eating those fattening foods. But it looks so good. You just want to take a bite. You know what it takes? The strength, the inner strength to say, you know what? No. I'm not going to. It's not good for me. It's not healthy for me. It's not, I wouldn't call it a diet. A diet is not about food. It's about self-control. It's about getting yourself in order. And we all need to get that in all different areas of our lives. We have things that we react to impulsively. Right? Someone sits in your seat in synagogue. You're like, hey, what's your problem? Right? Get out. Move there. I'm sure none of you do that. I don't even have a set seat. I mean, I have a set place, but it's usually occupied by others. Because I never say it, so I don't have a seat now. But it's not to act impulsively. Have a peace of mind. Have a peacefulness. It doesn't. Not everything. You don't need to control everything. There's a big God out there. He takes care of everything, and He evens the score. Don't worry about it. You have someone who will cheat you. Take it easy. Take a deep breath. You'll live another day, right? Okay. Anger, anxiety, impatience are sometimes a result of not enough calmness. A person who doesn't have that calmness, a person who doesn't have that tranquility, right, very frequently will fall into the trap of anger, of being anxious, because again, they're looking at the results. They want to bring about those results. They don't realize you have to just take a step back. You put your effort forward, and now take it easy. Peace and tranquility aren't an end goal or destination, but part of our process of growth. It's part of how we grow. These are tools that we need in order to grow. All right? Menucha doesn't mean being numb. Having tranquility doesn't mean you're numb to those around you, that you're not sensitive to others, but rather staying composed in the midst of life's challenges. We all have things that come our way that we wish didn't show up. Right? We all have people that are able to press all the wrong buttons. Right? Right, Pascal? Right? We have some people like that. Right? That's the way it is. Life gives us challenges. That's the reality. I will just mention here that I have a shot glass that I don't know if someone got this for me or if I got this myself. But either way, in my collection at home, we have a shot glass that says, "If life gives you lemons, drink tequila." Right? Do something pretty. Life is going to give you lemons. Do something good with it. Right? It's going to give you challenges. Those challenges are an opportunity. I'm not condoning here, frivolity or senseless drinking or alcoholism, right? Or any type of substance abuse. This is a disclaimer. We're living in a very politically correct world. I have to make sure that nobody leaves here or online, hold it against me. Before I know it, I'll have, pickets outside the Torch Center. People like, stop condoning alcoholism, right? All right, so Menucha, tranquility, doesn't mean being numb, but rather staying focused in the midst of life's challenges. Stay focused. Take it easy. Okay? The essence of a person of faith, is equanimity, is Menucha. All right? This is, by the way, the words of the Chovot HaLevavot. The Chovot HaLevavot, which is Rabbeinu Bachya, right? He has an entire section on this, dealing with Menucha, dealing with this equanimity. Equanimity needs to be constantly present, not a destination we reach. Right? Again, it's not something that one day I will arrive at calmness, at peacefulness, peace of mind. Rather, it's something we need to teach ourselves. Right? We're going to give a little task at the end of this class today, which is going to be to close your eyes for 30 seconds and just breathe in, breathe out. Now, we just saw in the news yesterday that there's someone who just developed a soundless room. No sound. Nothing. All the 4 sides, the top and the bottom, all have panels, like soundproof panels. There's no noise from outside. All you hear is your own breath, your own heartbeat. You see it right over here in this room. It's pretty quiet. But there's noise from the other room. There's noise from the fans. There's noise from things, from computers, from machines, right? There's noise. Soundless room. For what? For what? Peace of mind. Tranquility. Equanimity. Just take a few minutes. We'll take 30 seconds. We'll do this at the end of class. Close your eyes and just, I don't want to call it yoga, right? Because yoga has just become, it's like the new Kabbalah, it's the new thing. It's fine. It works for many people, and that's a great thing, and I don't want to be disparaging of it at all. It helps many, many people. But it's the idea of having this peacefulness. Okay? It should be how we live life and not what we live for. Right? Do not allow your spirit to rush to anger. This is Kohelet. Right? Ecclesiastes 7:9. Don't allow your spirit to rush to anger. Why not? Why not? Because if your spirit rushes to anger, it means you have no peace of mind. You have no peace of mind. What do you have? Chaos. Yeah, so anger is easy. Being anxious is easy. And all of these other terrible things that don't give a person peacefulness come onto. It's like it almost attacks you. Okay? So, when we lack tranquility, we allow ourselves to rush out of control and spin to anger or to whatever our impulse tells us to do. A person who has peace of mind, who has tranquility, they don't raise their voice, they don't get angry. Right? Now, there are many things that could lead a person to not have peace of mind. We just experienced in our city a terrible flood. People had, 4, 5, 6, 7 feet of water in their house. That doesn't exactly bring about peace of mind. Right? It's a big challenge. People are facing big challenges. And we have to be sensitive to that. But along with that, this is perhaps an opportunity for a person to elevate themselves and have that, right? That level of tranquility. Right? By what? By just focusing. Taking the time out every day, close your eyes, and just be thankful to be alive. Say, you know what, I'm doing the best I can do, and that's it. Take a deep breath. Squeeze that stress ball. Just relax. Take it easy. You're doing the best you can do, and that's it. That's it that counts. Okay? When an upsetting situation arises, practice responding calmly. Keep yourself talking in a soft voice, in a soft tone. This is advice from the Ramban, Nachmanides, where he writes to his son. He says to him, always remember to speak with a peaceful, calm voice. That way, you will avoid falling into anger. If a person speaks with a harsh voice, the next step is they're going to start yelling. They're going to get angry. But your voice, the tone, is able to help control your reaction. Peacefulness is able to help control your voice. It's one step before that. So anger causes one's intellect to disappear and act irrationally. When someone gets angry, they do stupid things, they do crazy things. Why? Because they took that tranquility, they threw it out. They took that peace of mind and threw it out. Now what happens? Chaos ensues. And now they do things irrationally. And then later they come back and say, hopefully they'll have the decency to say that. And they'll say, I'm so sorry, I reacted in a impulsive way. I'm sorry I got so angry. Why do we need to apologize like that? If we had that tranquility in advance, we would never get to such a point where we lose our temper, where we get angry. And in another Proverbs from King Solomon, 1911 is as follows. It says, a sign of one's intellect is his calmness. Right? Someone who really understands how limited we are as human beings, how limited we are in our ability to actually bring about conclusions. Right? We aren't able to. We have to leave something for the Almighty. You have that calmness. Smart person. You figured it out. You figured out the system. That's how it works. Okay? So, we'll try that exercise here. But there's actually, I'm going to share with you something my father asked me. He asked me, is there an app? And if there's anyone out there, please write in the comments. Is there an app that turns off your phone for 45 minutes out of every hour? That would be a great idea, right? Just turns off the sound, turns off all functionality for 45 minutes out of every hour. I think it would be the best hit. Why? People are today. There's no tranquility. There's no peace of mind. We're busy either looking at our phones, playing games with our phones. Now, it's true. It's an amazing tool. I'll just say for myself, right now we don't have, torch offices have been flooded, right? So we don't, So a lot of my work gets done here with my phone. It's a computer. But we know that not every device is being used for productive purposes. Some of them, sadly, are not only not productive, they're negative forces that they're being used for. It's not only they're wasting time, they're using it for terrible things sometimes. Obviously, it's not everyone, and we don't want to make any generalizations after just making generalizations. But the reality is that we are living in a generation where people don't even know what it means, the concept of being tranquil. They think of it as tranquilizers, right? Putting an animal to sleep. No. We're talking about being calm, being collected, being thought through, not doing things irrationally, not doing things, with erratic responses, out of anger, chaos. We need to find a way to have an equanimity, to have a peacefulness. Right? That's what we need. Right? So the Almighty should bless us all. There's a lot more to talk about, but I don't want to be misunderstood. Just by the way, okay. Now that we're ending this topic of tranquility, that does not mean, and this shouldn't be taken the wrong way, that we should live our lives in total tranquility in the sense that we are not even motivated to get things done. Right? Well, hey, why don't you get yourself a job? Well, Rabbi said to be tranquil, and to just be to be relaxed, to just rest. No, go get your job and work hard. But there's no need to stress about the results. Our job is to put forward our greatest effort and never stop, even after retirement. Right? Like Ed, even though he retired, I'm very proud of you. I think it's an incredible. Keeps himself busy. He's doing work, has projects, has things, is volunteering, is just getting involved. Our obligation in life is not to just rest on our laurels and, shalom alay nafshi, I'm just at peace. No. It's to toil and to work hard, but to also have a frame of mind of peacefulness, of calmness, of tranquility. So that even when we're in the middle of work and we have a deadline, and we can still talk to someone with a peacefulness, with a calmness. It's such an important trait. But all we need to do to really acquire this trait is to start with a half minute. I would recommend it once or twice a day. Just shut everything off. Turn off the radio in your car. Put the car on park, right, on the side of the road, safely, of course, right? And just stop. Stop for 30 seconds. Just take a deep breath. And just let all of your worries out. Let them all out. Right? You know what? I'm going to give it my greatest effort. And it'll work, God willing. But we can't force results. We can't force success. We can't force accomplishment. We could force effort. We could lock ourselves in to doing our greatest efforts. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And with it, to have tranquility, to have peacefulness. So with that, my friends, thank you so much for joining us online. You're all welcome to join us at our Monday, Mussar Monday classes. Every Monday evening. Now we have an entire winter. It was such an amazing holiday. Sukkot was so beautiful. We had Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur a few weeks prior. And now we have an open schedule all the way till Pesach. So there's no more breaks. There's no more. That's it. You're not getting away with it. You hear that, Jay? Every Monday. Every Monday, 7:30. We're going to be at Congregation Torah Vachesed till further notice. Hopefully it's just going to be a couple of weeks. And we're back at the Torch Center. We're very excited. But we look forward to all of you joining us live in our class, not only online. And please like and share these videos if you enjoyed it. When you get back home, you can like it and share it as well with your friends. It's a tremendous merit to have the Torah study that's happening right here in Houston, Texas, be heard and learned by others all around the world. It's an amazing thing. It's a big zchut, it's a big merit, and when you share it, you get that merit as well. So, and you get the full merit, by the way. You get the full merit, I get the full merit too. So it's, it's a perfect deal. It's not like a pyramid scheme. You take a percentage, I take you get the whole thing. We both get the whole thing. With that, my friends, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Stay safe and go Astros.